Alright, we're starting the upper end head installation. Right now what we've done is we've installed this first bolt according to the manual. There's one down in the middle, just snugging everything up. So we're going to be putting the rockers back in here, and the panels and the push rods will go here, and then we've got to put a couple of nuts on the end, and I think basically I think it's starting to look and go together pretty well. Now, basically spent this morning getting all the rockers back in. It was a little hard to do this. What I ended up doing, what made it a little bit easier, was I could use the Kickstarter, but because of the height and everything was a little awkward, I just used a hammer, and I put it in on the gear and push it forward or backwards, whichever one I wanted. So these all went in fine. Now I just have to gap the valve adjustments, and turns over. All right. Looking good got so far. Head on. It's all set, cleaned up. It's actually looking pretty good. Been working a little bit today on the left side case, and you can see what it's looking like there. Just basically started off with 1000 wet dry sandpaper with a little bit of dish soap in it and a little elbow grease, and she cleans up pretty nicely. I might go a little shinier, but I think it looks pretty good just the way it is. With the head, got everything set. All the rockers were set, 8 thousandths on the intake and 10 thousandths on the exhaust. So they're all set. I put some just paper towels in the intake manifold and the exhaust, because I started thinking that summertime here in Minnesota, and might get bugs that want to climb in there. I could see that being a real interesting thing. Not so much, they'd probably just go right through it. But now we're going to start here on the right-hand side of the motor, and it's going to give it a go and start it off with 1,000, and then move in to 2,000, and just keep going on it. I'll give you an update. Some of the laundry dish soap in the container here. I soaked my 1000 paper, just putting a little elbow grease into it, but not doing it too hard. I found out that if you try to push it, it actually causes kind of a setup in the with all the debris in the paper. So got to keep it good and lubricated. I think it works the best. So you can already start to see that we're starting to get rid of some of that 1971 road grime. I don't think this bike was ever clean. So anyway, there you go. Well, here's after about 2 hours of working on the right side case. Still got some detail work to do. It cleaned up pretty well. There's some gouges and things in the chrome itself or the aluminum. So there may reach a time where I just say that that's good enough and let it go. I'd like to be able to get this area clean. I got to figure out what else I could use on it. I've used brushes, I've used vinegar, I've used aluminum cleaner, stainless cleaner. I've used all kinds of stuff, and it's getting better each and every time, short of buffing. Here's the left side motor. That one's looking a little bit better, but I guess it probably wasn't as beat up. But overall, the head, I think I'm just going to leave it more into that flat area. It's got a little bit of sheen to it, but lots of time to invest there, and I don't think the payoff's that great. So okay, going from there. What we're going to do now, I've got this piece of styrofoam on the floor. Going to take the motor, we're going to turn it sideways. Instead of trying to lift it into the motorcycle frame here, we're going to put the frame over the motorcycle, over the engine. And I put some blue tape on the frame so we don't scuff it up too much. If we can get away with it, we'll see what happens. Never done this before, but my buddy made the suggestion, and so I taped up some stuff, and now I just got to get another friend of mine to come over, and we're going to see if we can position that over and slide the mounting bolts through, and away we go. I've got everything kind of positioned right here, how it's all going to go together, and once we get that motor in there, boy, I think the motor's mounted. It's not secured. I've just left the bolts kind of loose right now, but now we're starting to see it come together, and I think assembly is going to move along pretty quickly now. And but overall, the installation of the motor went pretty easy. We laid the motor on its side. We went to put the frame over it, but it wasn't so easy. So ultimately, what ended up happening was straddling the bike and reaching down, just basically getting on the motorcycle like this, and reaching your hands down on each side of the motor, picking it up and tilting it out. So that was the best thing happening. So there it is. Now we're going to start putting it back together. Got all of the engine mounts in. Those are all set. Swing arm is back in now. So you can see that thing moving. It's got these rubber covers that go right over where the seams of the swing arm fit to the frame. And rear fender's back on. And again, I made do with what I had for the rear fender. I just basically took my cutoff saw and cut the whole thing off, and use the same mounting bolt. So